We woke up on the morning of our fourth day at the Homestake Dry Campground, a site that was created by the Park Service for camping out near the racetrack and the top of Lippincott Pass. The first item on the morning agenda was, of course, coffee. After getting the blood caffeine level properly adjusted, it was time to cook up some home fries and ground beef and stuff them into a burrito, then pack up camp and head over to the Racetrack Playa. One of the most interesting mysteries of Death Valley National Park are the sliding rocks at the Racetrack Playa. These rocks can be found on the floor of the playa with long trails behind them. Somehow these rocks slide across the playa, cutting a furrow in the sediment as they move. Some of these rocks can weigh up to a couple 100 pounds, and the trails they leave behind go in various different directions, and some trails just sort of abruptly change direction in the middle of their course. Many theories abounded over the years regarding how these rocks moved, but nobody really knew for sure. And it wasn't until February of 2006 that a man named Brian Dunning, on a cold, wet, windy winter day, actually videoed the rocks moving. And of course, his video is available on YouTube. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. Well, after walking around the Racetrack Playa, it was time to hop in the vehicles, get out there, and start doing some serious wheeling. Next stop is the famous Lippincott Pass Road. Lippincott Pass Road is considered by some to be the most difficult route in Death Valley. I'm not one of those, and I think you'll find that some routes on tomorrow's trip will be a little bit more difficult than this. However, it is a very long shelf road with a steep drop-off, some off-camber, and some rock obstacles along the way. There are also very few spots where you can pull over and get out of the way of oncoming traffic, but it's the views of the Saline Valley below that make this trip well worth the effort. Well, we made it down off the Lippincott Pass Road into Saline Valley, and after about an hour's drive on the Saline Valley Road, we finally came to our day's destination in the Saline Valley. The morning of day 5 was beautiful and calm and was the beginning of what was the most spectacular day on the trip. We cooked some breakfast, packed up the vehicles, and headed off for Steel Pass. There is nothing like an F-18 low-pass flyby to get your day going. We met Dirk the previous night at camp. He asked if he could join us going over Steel Pass and down to Dedeckera Canyon, and of course we were happy to have him along. Dirk drives a long bed Toyota Tacoma, a rig that he's been building out himself, and it was a real pleasure having him join us today, going over Steel Pass and through Dedeckera Canyon. Just before the top of Steel Pass, we pulled over and hiked a short ways to go check out Marble Bath. Marble Bath is actually a bathtub filled with blue marbles. It was placed in its current location back in the early 1990s by Wendell Moyer and a group of his friends.
Park Service was having an issue with this at one point.
If you'd like more information on Marble Bath, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. After crossing over Steel Pass, we ended up in a high mesa that was just beautiful. A Joshua tree forest, striped mountains, and just a beautiful vista made this one of the most spectacular places I've seen in Death Valley. In fact, I wouldn't mind coming back here for a day or two just to take it all in. With a long way to go, we crossed the mesa and began our descent into Dedeckera Canyon. We finally came to the first of the 3 steps of Dedeckera Canyon.
Little driver. Little, okay. Oh, I get it. Okay.
With that long bed Tacoma, Dirk had to be careful what angle he chose.
Yep.
Keep a little more.
Tell me when I can turn.
Go.
Easy.
It's going to be bad over here. You did it. By the way, I don't think Dirk had skid plates installed on the truck yet. You don't want to get the wall. You're going to want to come off of here and just take your lumps.
Just slide straight.
Last thing you want is to get off camber into that wall.
Yeah, you're right. So
And you're going to drag on that rock.
Yeah.
So you start over there and kind of come this way is probably your best bet.
I'm going to do this to try to get moved over.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Or do you think my tail, or should I just do it the way it is? I probably want to keep my tail end as far away from this as possible.
Yes. Just a little bit to driver now. Just a little. You're going to come over a rock on passenger. That's it. You're going to have another rock on passenger. There you go. You're over the top of it. You're rubbing on the right, on driver, I mean. There you go. Now, driver, hold on. Straighten out. Come out straight. That's it. Keep coming. Keep coming. All right, driver. You made it.
A little bit to passenger. Okay, straighten out. Straight. Come forward. You're good. And straight, straight. You should be all right. And now start your passenger.
All right. No worries.
Do you want to keep going or you want to stop?
I'm going to go down to the flat.
Oh my gosh, look at that, Otis.
Wow.
That's where we're going.
When we reached the end of Dedeckera Canyon, it opened up into a spectacular view of the Eureka Sand Dunes, the tallest sand dunes in the state of California.
Looking at the map, the road's going to go straight, then it's going to drift to the left, to the right a little bit, but nothing severe.
was here at the Eureka Sand Dunes that we parted ways with Dirk. He was off to head back to Death Valley, and we were heading west to Big Pine to get some much-needed fuel and head down to the Alabama hills.
Many years ago I went, this says 18 miles to Lone.
About halfway to Big Pine, Bud ran out of fuel and it was time to transfer some from the jerry can. We found a campsite in the Alabama hills that had a beautiful view of the Sierras and the stars and made camp for the night. In the morning we packed up and made our way home, knowing that this would not be our last trip to Death Valley. We look forward to seeing you again here on Adventure Beyond 60.